I'd like to welcome you to Thursday's podcast of our study in the book of Philippians. Today we're going to be in Philippians, the third chapter, verse number 2. Now, yesterday we talked about the first part of verse number 2. Basically, in verse number 2, the Apostle Paul is bringing a warning to the church at Philippi, and he's warning about three different types of people that are trying to destroy their faith. It was a warning that he has given over and over and over again. And so if you didn't listen to yesterday's podcast, go back and listen to what is beware of dogs. What does it mean? Now today we're going to pick up with beware of evil workers. Watch out for. Be aware of them. Be watchful for them. What does it mean, an evil worker? Well, the word evil here is the Greek word krekos, and it just means something that's harmful or something that's dangerous. Now, I don't say this to put fear in your life, but there are people that are dangerous to you. There are people that are constantly there, that are not there to benefit you, to strengthen you, and to build you up. They are constantly there for one purpose, and that is to harm you. And let me just say this, most of that harm comes from their mouth, comes from the words that they say. You know, somebody could hit you, and you know what? After a few days, the bruise begins to heal. The pain goes away. But if someone speaks to you something that harms you, let me tell you something. It can take a long time for you to recover. So watch out for people that are around you, that are constantly harming you. They're constantly bringing danger into your life, into your soul, into your mind, into your emotions. That's what the Apostle Paul is talking about. He knew that the effects of these people is going to come against their faith. Let me just say this. I know of many people who used to be very faithful in church. And then one of these persons that are constantly attacking, constantly harmful, comes into their lives, and now they no longer serve the Lord. I'm not saying they're going to hell, but they're no longer in service. What has happened? Well, that worker has destroyed, has caused harm. The word worker here has the idea of someone who instigates something. Let me ask you a question. You ever had a person that comes into your life and they're constantly poking at you? Not to encourage you and not to move you forward in your faith, but constantly trying to get under your skin, constantly telling you you're not any good, constantly saying you need to do more when you're at the extent where you can do no more. You know what? That person is constantly instigating something in you. And it's not something that's going to help you. It's something that's going to harm you. These people are there to start evil in your life. These people were there to start evil in the city of Philippi amongst the believers. I believe that one of those types of people were the legalistic people, the Judaizers that were constantly poking and pushing and prodding and saying, you know what? Yeah, you can be a believer, but you need to be circumcised. Yeah, you can be a believer, but you better not eat that pork chop. Yeah, you can be a believer. You know what? They're constantly instigating something in the life of those people. So beware, watch out for them. And then the Apostle Paul says this, the next and the last classification that we see here in the second verse. And he says, beware of the false circumcision. And then he goes on into verse number 3. For we are the true circumcision who worship in the Spirit of God and glory in Christ Jesus and put no confidence in the flesh. What's the Apostle Paul saying? He's saying, beware of these people that are not of the true circumcision. They are the false circumcision. What does it mean, the false circumcision? Well, the Greek word that the Apostle Paul uses, it actually means not only to cut, but it means to mutilate. You see, the Apostle Paul here is talking again about the Judaizers. And they were constantly after the believers in Philippi, even the Gentile believers in Philippi, to get circumcised. And Paul doesn't use the word circumcise. He uses the word cut. Now, it's been translated as circumcised, but it actually means to mutilate. It means to cut in a way that it mutilates a person. What's he talking about? He's not talking about something physical. He's talking about something that's spiritual. We see that as we go on into verse number 3, where he says, for we are the true circumcision. In other words, we have had this circumcision. And what is the sign of this circumcision? Who worship in the Spirit of God. Let me say this. One of the signs of a believer, not a sign of a person who's following someone else's dictation, but a sign of a person who's been truly born again, is they worship God in the Spirit of God. They worship in the Spirit of God. Wow, what a statement. They worship in the Spirit. They come to God and they worship Him because of what's happening on the inside of them. They're been born again. They're worshiping. You see, the Judaizers, they worshiped. They didn't worship in the Spirit. No, they worshiped to be seen by men. They worshiped so that people could see their self-righteousness. And Paul says, no, we worship in the Spirit of God. Now let me finish verse number 3. We glory in Christ Jesus and put no confidence in the flesh. What's the Apostle Paul saying? Our glory comes from Christ. It comes from what Jesus has done in our lives. And because of that, we're not looking at what we've done in the flesh, but we look at what Jesus has done inside of us. I hope this has helped you today. God bless you. Join us again tomorrow as we continue our study in the book of Philippians.